It's hard to talk about Bergman's films. I think one thing to remember is Bergman made a load of films, and that I think is a great achievement in itself. And he made them over a period of time. So there's lots of different sorts of Bergman films. If you think about a Bergman film, it's usually a small group of actors. You know, it's the camera. It's in a very simple location, often a place that he knew. He did a lot of films in sort of the world he was from, and it's really just about trying to engage with the character, engage with the story, so the world. What is the world of the people in the story. And I think there's a beautiful simplicity in both the way he worked and the films that he made. He wrote his own films and he directed them as well, so he's seen as being one of these kind of sort of classic kind of auteur, whatever, and clearly was very much in charge of his material. But if you look at a Bergman film from the 50s, or whatever, let's say Summer with Monica, which I love that film, but that's a very simple story of kind of a girl from Stockholm going out on an island for the summer, and a great performance by Harriet Anderson, and and that is very different era as well as a very different kind of film to something like Persona. So there's lots of different types of Bergman. There's probably 4 or 5 phases of Bergman, a bit like Picasso. You have different kind of eras of Bergman. And I think in the end they're just usually very simple stories about 1 or 2 characters. They're very easy in that sense, accessible, and the great thing about his films is they have enough resonance and depth that you can think about it afterwards, and they work and think about what they mean in some bigger context. But really, the films themselves are usually very, very direct and simple.
Vi sticker, hörru. Sticker kommer aldrig tillbaks. Bara åker och tittar på världen. Är du med om det?
Ja, det gör vi.
When someone's made as many films as Bergman, it's difficult to say where you should start. One option would be to start chronologically, and not necessarily right from the beginning, because his very earliest films were studio films, but something like Summer with Monica is a very simple, easy, accessible film, but it's from a long time ago. The most probably conventional, easy narrative is Fanny and Alexander, whether you watch the TV version or the film version, the sort of family drama, which is like at the very end. I have to say, when it first came out in the cinema, it was a bit like, oh, that Bergman's kind of gone, become more conventional. I think if you want to start with the sort of great films, there's lots of great films. But I think probably Cries and Whispers or Persona is a good place to start, something which will have a big kind of emotional impact, and then you can work your way out from those.